This is my first series on YouTube. This is my first Ask Questions Realtor edition. This is for Florida Realtor, giving out information about how to sell their house or any other information that's relevant. I'm basically just going to go off on a rant, and this is my first part in the series of just asking general questions. So I pulled up a list of questions off of Google, and I'm just going through the list and I'm answering the questions. So, first question on the list is, what is the fastest way to sell your house? Well, think about that one for just a second. All right, you want the answer to the fastest way? You're not going to like it. Give it away for free. That's really it. If you really want a fast sale, you're going to have to sell it for cash to an investor who can move rather quickly. Traditional financing is going to take anywhere from 30 to 45 days, depending on the loan, depending on the type, depending on the lender, locations, if there's any liens. There's so many factors that come into it. But the biggest one is going to be who's buying it, how fast can they move. So being an investor, having access to cash liquid already, usually they'll move within 7 to 14 days. So you do have the option of your iBuy companies. That would be like Open Door, OfferPad, those companies. They're going to offer you less than what the market value is of your home. So if you want to move fast, you're going to have to cough up something, and usually that's going to be on price. So if you want to move faster, it's going to cost you. If you want more bang for your buck and you want more money, then you're just going to have to wait it out. All right, question 2. Do I pay taxes to the IRS when I sell my house? It's a really good question. So here in the state of Florida, we don't have any extra provisions. There's no state income tax that we have to file or anything like that. So we just follow the federal government, whatever their guidelines are. And it's really simple for the capital gains tax. This is what I tell everybody when they have a house, they're not sure if they have to pay any tax or tax on their profits. And this is what it comes out to. If you have lived in the home for the past 2 of 5 years, you do not own a capital gains tax up to a certain amount. I believe that max is $500,000 for married filing jointly, and then $250,000 for single. Those numbers I'm sure will change very often, so I'll have to get updated information on those. But the rule of thumb is the past 2 of 5 years. So if you purchased a home, it's 2025. So if you purchased a home 2020, all right, so we're just going to use that last 5-year gap. If you've lived in it within 2 years, for 2 full years within that 5-year span, it doesn't have to be right away. It doesn't have to be right now. You could have lived in the home from 2021 to 2023. And looking at it from a window of 2025 to 2020, you have lived in it for the past 2 of 5 years. You will not own any capital gains. You technically can live in your house for 2 years and rent it out for 2 to 3 years and sell it and not have to pay any capital gains. Consult your tax professionals, your CPAs, your accountants. Consult them first. But that's the rule of thumb that I go off of this past 2 of 5 years. It has to be your primary residence. It's not just something you live in on the side. It has to be your primary residence. Question 3. How much do you actually make when you sell your house? That is a very tough question to answer because there's no set value or number or ratio that I could give you. It depends on market. It depends on your agent. It depends on the buyers. It depends on if there's problems with your house. How good does it look? Does the roof need to be replaced? Does concrete need to be fixed? Does it need to be painted? Does it need to be cleaned? It's endless. When do you close throughout the month? When do you close throughout the year? There's so many factors, and they all have a different weight against the outcome of the sale. So your best bet would be you sit down with a real estate agent, and we can give you the seller net sheet based on how much do you want to sell it for. We can base these figures off of your what I call the rock bottom price. If your house is worth, let's say it's worth at market 300,000, but the bottom dollar you'll take is 290. So then I'll take 290, I'll throw that into our calculator for our seller net sheets, and then I'll figure out if we go to market now, it's right now in this market, we're going to take about 3 to 4 months before you'll go under contract, hopefully. And when we do that, I can figure out based on the closing date, based on your tax bill, based on XYZ, what our negotiations on our commissions are, etc. It will pump out what you're expected to receive at closing. Aside from that, if you offer any seller concessions or any rate buy downs, or you're going to come out of pocket with expenses for not necessarily staging, but cleaning up the home, any other upgrades you might want to make to help drive more price to your home or to make it stand out against competition. Those are all things you're not going to get back, but unless I know about those, I can't throw those into the net sheet. But usually you can just take those right off the top. There is also, because this will factor in your state, what is the name of that? Doc stamps. That is a figure that is a percentage of the sale. So it's not flat rate that'll get deducted. That's a percentage of sale. Same goes for commissions. So all of those, it just completely depends. All right, question 4. Is it a good time to sell your home in Florida? Well, I always say it's always a good time to sell. It just depends on your life situation. That's what really matters. And that's what I listen to when I sit down with clients at listing appointments or meetings, or I talk to anybody. Is it reasonable for you to sell right now? Does it make sense for you to do that? Does it make sense for you to, if you have to uproot your life? If you have, and I deal with a lot of step up buyers, so that means families that are growing in size. So they're leaving their starting home and they're moving to a bigger home. And you do not have to sell your home first in order to move into the next one. Usually, they want to see, when you're going to buy it, you want to see that your house is currently on the market with a realtor. So as long as you've got a listing agreement signed, it's on the MLS, it's usually a good way to put it. And buying another house, we can mess with contract dates, and there's provisions and other necessary items that go into it to make sure that you don't get screwed over and to allow for an easy transition. So when is it a good time to sell? Really, anytime.